Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you could have first heard this episode 9 months ago if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that'll get right on your tits.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, this is it!
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hotbody Dawson Papapow.
I'm Sam Nifty Delaney, so what?
Welcome along. We are once again in the history box, and we're looking at the life
And
of one of the
times.
most significant figures in football. He is still alive. He's still with us. He's 86 years of age, and he's been back in the news recently. He is, of course, Joseph Sepp Blatter, the man who was in charge of FIFA only from 1998. It seems
I feel like
he was
he's been
for
around
longer
forever.
than that.
Who was it before him? Hal Havilange.
How Havilange, João Havilange.
João Havilange.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. Oh, click on him. He looks like a Nazi.
He was a grumpy cunt, him, isn't he? Yeah.
He was Brazilian Portuguese, and he looks like one of these guys you see who's still on the run in South America. But let's not get into accusing him of being a Nazi. Let's we'll examine his life another time.
He did live in Brazil, so
Yeah, exactly. Boys from Brazil.
maybe. Born in 1916, timeline fits. And he was the second longest. This is Havilange. We'll go back to Blatter in a minute. Havilange was the second longest tenure as president, behind that of Jules Rimet, who of course was a trophy as opposed to a man.
Name it after me. What are we going to call this trophy that you've ordered? Just name it after me.
Just as a placeholder.
Jules Rimet.
We'll change it later. It never got changed.
It's interesting. I've always wondered why, like, when Brazil won it for a third time, they said you could have that, keep it. And then they created the current one, which is better. In fact, one of the many brilliant things about the World Cup is that the trophy itself is the best trophy in any activity ever in the world.
Yeah.
You do not get a better
trophy.
trophy than the World Cup. It's not even, there's nothing even in the same league. It's fucking sensational.
And who was it? Which country was it that won it 3 times and then would have
Brazil.
been entitled?
Oh, yeah, the next ones were Germany.
This one.
So
is
Germany, when they won it in 1990, that was their third, and that should have been, they kept it. But for some reason,
it's such a good trophy.
they said it's too good. We're never going to better that. And they're right. It wouldn't be possible to better it.
Totally.
So the Germans probably quite disgruntled. It is our trophy. No, hang on. I think it's hang on. I think Italy in 82, because I think Italy won it in the 30s and then once in the 50s, maybe.
Yeah, but it's whoever won the new one 3 times gets to keep it.
Oh yeah, of course.
So
Okay, so Germany.
onwards.
Oh, hang on then. So I'm wrong here. So Germany would have won it in 74 and 90. So actually,
yeah, they won it again though. 2010,
2010,
wasn't it? Or 6?
2014 in Brazil.
Right. Okay.
Italy won it.
See, now we're getting into that area where I can't remember World Cup winning teams.
Yeah, no,
Whereas
Brazil. They won it in
of them.
2014 in Brazil because that was the year they battered Brazil in the semi, and then they beat Argentina 1-0 in the final, and they won it in 74 and 1990.
Yeah.
So they've won it 4 times in all,
Yeah.
but the first time they won it, it was still the old Jules Rimet.
West Germany. Yeah, they won it 74, 90, and as you said, they're 2014. So they were going to get to keep it, but they've changed the rule.
Yeah.
They got to keep a copy of it.
I tell you what, France could win it this year. They're one of the favourites, and then that'll be their third.
That'll be their third. They might say, yeah, we're keeping it.
We keep this.
Just to fuck Germany over.
Yeah. I hope not, though, because it's fucking cracking. It's a brilliant trophy. But no thanks to Sepp Blatter, who probably tried to rename it the Sepp Blatter Trophy.
Yeah. Sepp Blatter was born in a town called Visp, V-I-S-P, in the Swiss canton of Valais. And Visp is the capital of the district of Visp. in the canton of what is a canton? We don't have cantons here, do we?
Never even heard of the term.
Valais is one of the 26 cantons forming the Swiss Confederation.
Oh yeah, so it's like
It's a bit
counties.
like,
It's like counties. It's their version of counties.
I was going to say it's a bit like the Hunger Games, but maybe not.
Yeah, yeah. Districts they have in Hunger Games, don't they?
Yeah. Sepp studied in Saint Maurice before getting a degree in business and economics from the University of Lausanne in 1959. Sepp Blatter has had a long and varied career, which is what you would hope for and expect, including posts such as head of public relations for the tourist board of his native canton. You could see that. You could see that. I'm doing that. Head of public relations. General Secretary of the Swiss Ice Hockey Federation. Wasn't aware ice hockey was a thing in Switzerland. He was Director of Sports Timing and Relations of Longines, which is that fucking watch company, isn't it? The Swiss luxury watchmaker we were talking about them, isn't it? Oh, we were talking about Tissot. Who's the official time consultant?
I think it's Tissot.
Is it? So Longines, the rival. Tissot will have got it after Blatter got sacked, probably.
Pissot, more like.
And he was involved in the organisation of the 1972 and 1976 Olympic Games. From 1975 onwards, he worked at FIFA as technical director, then general secretary. That was his job. He was general secretary from 1981 to 1998. So he was well known to us before he even became FIFA president. I think he was running around doing all the stuff. Yeah. And João Havelange was just sat in his office.
Fucking, just stuffing his face with sausages all day. I bet he had one of them buzzers on his desk. Hello, guten Tag.
Sepp, have you got the sausages we ordered from the Germans?
Yes, they are coming in now. The tea lady is bringing them on the sausage lady is bringing them on her trolley.
Good. Then make sure that the French deliver their sausages too.
He'd have had a machine, surely, built into his desk that would have had sausages pumped into it.
No, but he would have had those, but he would have had sausage pledges from the different football federations around the world that they had to give him in order to curry favour.
So he's on the phone checking they've come in, but then he just presses a button on the machine and they come out of his desk.
Yeah.
If I press the button now, will the Egyptian sausages come out?
They have arrived. How long will it take to cook them and load them into the machine?
I only want cooked sausages. I have told you this, Blatter. Blatter, you know that I have positioned you for many years as my natural successor, but that is not guaranteed. It could still go to someone else, like Platini, who brings me many sausages on his visits
from around the world
to my mountain lair.
He personally tastes them all for me first because he knows what I like. You just do the deals.
Sepp, you know you are my favourite successor. But remember, nothing is certain in this life. That is why if I see one more raw sausage anywhere within my compound, there will be consequences. Cook them off-site, then have them delivered very quickly so they are still warm to my machine. Build a sausage processing plant nearby.
When they come out of the machine, they must be hot, but not so hot that they burn my mouth.
Perfect eating temperature, and still a little greasy. I do not like it when the grease dries and turns to white fat. I like it when it is still greasy and slippery.
I do not like the fat. It is aesthetically unpleasant.
It makes me think of my arteries, which the doctor tells me are in a catastrophic state as it is. He described my heart as a scene of utter mayhem. Because of all the big cigars I smoke and sausages I dine on all day.
He said it is like the busiest roads in the centre of Mumbai. I don't know what he means.
He said my arteries are as furry as Chewbacca's asshole. Ha, what does he know? Fucking medic. Medic, heal thyself. That's what I tell him.
I would say that. He say, what do you mean? I say, I don't know.
Think on. I run football, cunt. How can I do that unless I am fueled by fucking cigars and sausage?
That's basically Joe Avalanche's fucking personal statement. I run football, cunts.
I get that on a fucking t-shirt for when I go on holiday every year. To Cuba.
We're trying to get the World Cup there.
Fucking worth it for the cigars alone.
Definitely a deal to be done there.
Not to mention the fanny that's out there. You won't believe it.
Back to Blatter, though. He was elected FIFA president in 1998, and he was re-elected as head of FIFA in 2002, and was re-elected unopposed for another 4 years in May 2007, even though only 66 of 207 FIFA members nominated him. Very popular, a very popular man. Blatter and FIFA were often dogged by controversy and allegations of corruption. His tenure saw controversy over allegations of financial mismanagement and the acceptance of bribes, resulting in Qatar's successful 2022 World Cup bid, which is where we're at right now in life. Blatter has attracted criticism from the media, senior football figures and players due to controversial statements. Ooh. Let's just have a few of them. This should have been a bit of pre-prepared, which was, did Blatter say this or have I made it up? Controversial statements include the claim that Latin American countries would applaud John Terry for having an extramarital affair. Fucking hell. Fuck me. And that on-field racism could be corrected with a handshake. Well, if only. He drew criticism at the 2014 FIFA World Cup seeding when he interrupted a minute's silence for Nelson Mandela, who had died the day before, after 11 seconds.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah, he was a great guy, yeah.
He was a good guy. There's no getting away from it, but we got football matters to deal with here. He's dead, and he would want us to move on.
I'll say he was a good guy, but I read that he'd been in prison, so I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was about.
He had a murky past in terrorism, which I am very against. But you know me, I never speak ill of the dead.
But I will interrupt there a minute silence.
All I'm saying is the less
seconds.
said about him, the better, yeah? Like when Jason Cundy had to break it on TalkSport, one of my favourite ever moments in British broadcasting. He was on air when Mandela died, so he had to break the news.
Fucking hell.
We're getting news from South Africa that Nelson Mandela, the former president, has sadly died. Age 93. That's no age to go. But anyway, it's very sad news. I personally never met him, but from what I've heard, he was a top fella.
I knew one or two of the lads who had met him, and they said he was a good geezer.
They said he was as good as gold, never gave them a moment's trouble.
Yeah.
No, he worked with Harry down at Portsmouth for only for about 8 months. He was mostly putting the cones out and doing a bit of driving. But Harry said he was an absolute good as gold.
Because the thing with some of these presidents is sometimes they have a bit of a side to them. You know what I mean? Because you don't get to the top without, trampling on a few people. But from what I heard, Mandela was hot of gold.
You got to muck in with the rest of the lads, whoever you are, whatever you've done. You know, like what we do is when you arrive at a club as a leveller, whoever you are, don't care about your trophies, whether you've run a country, whether the special AKA had done a song about you, any of that stuff. It don't matter. Yeah, you got to get up and you got to karaoke in front of the whole squad, right? A lot of the lads like to do a Luther Vandross number or something like that. Apparently, Harry had him down at Portsmouth. He gets up and he does Una Paloma Blanca. No, perfect it was. And the lads all thought, he's all right by us.
He got up, you don't believe this, he got up, he only did his own song, didn't he? He done Free Nelson Mandela. Well, there was rolling around on the ground, there was.
He was giving it 21 years in captivity. Are you so blind that you cannot see? I'll tell you what, it's a cracking little number.
He did that line where he says, shoes too small to fit his feet, and he done a little tap dance. Lovely.
Because by that stage, of course, he'd made a few quid. He was wearing a lovely pair of loafers. And let me show you, they fit perfectly like a fucking glove. I think he'd had them custom made. Ironic, really, isn't it? How things turn around. He was going, I tell you what, they fucking fit now, all right, you cunts. I tell you why and all. Fucking Jimmy Choo made them for me, to measure.
Jalapeño. Jalapeño.
Yeah, so minute silence for Mandela, curtailed after 11 seconds by Sepp Blatter. Michael van Praag, the chairman of the Dutch Football Association, called his behaviour preposterous and expressed the hope. He's preposterous!
This guy's preposterous, I'm telling you.
That's the best word you could possibly say in Dutch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the most un-Dutch word you could ever think of. Preposterous.
Blatter has been publicly heckled at the World Cup in Seoul. And
heckle me. Oh! Heckle me as much as you want. I do not care. It makes me laugh. I like it.
Yeah, I'll go straight back to my hotel room, 5-star, full of money. Then what?
You know what I do sometimes? I make what I call Sepp's special sausage roll. You know what that is? It's a fucking sausage wrapped in €100 note. I eat it all, even the money.
Sometimes I insist on getting edible money sent to me by some of my benefactors. He was heckled at the World Cup in Seoul and the Confederations Cup in Frankfurt in 2002 and 2005. He was heckled. This is like a list of hecklings that's on his Wikipedia page. He was heckled in his hometown of Visp in 2011.
Where he arrived in an open-top Pokemobile. Hi, cunts, I'm back. I'm looking for the guys that used to bully me at school. Bet you'd like fucking tickets to the cup final, wouldn't you?
He was heckled at the 2012 Women's Olympic Final medal ceremony.
Yeah, because he said loads of things about women's football, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I think there's a section just for that, further down. He was heckled at the opening of the Confederations Cup in 2013, and in order to avoid protest, no speeches were given by him at the 2014 World Cup. That was mad, wasn't it, the 2014 World Cup, the Brazil one, which I think is the best World Cup we've had in living memory. I thought it was great. But, of course, Brazil was in turmoil at the time. Do you remember when they were doing the punditry at one of the matches and someone chucked a rock and it hit the glass window of the studio?
Fucking hell, I don't remember that.
It was ITV, I think, because there was, like, fucking chaos on the streets, protests and everything.
Wow.
So that was a wild World Cup. 1998, Blatter was elected to the presidency. It occurred amidst much controversy, it says. His 2002 candidacy was marked with rumours of financial irregularities and backroom dealings, culminating with direct accusations of bribery by a third party made in the British press by Farah Addo, Vice President of the Confederation of African Football, who claimed to have been offered $100,000 to vote for Blatter in 1998. That sounds pretty reasonable. That sounds in keeping with what we'd think and expect.
Yeah, that doesn't. I don't think any of us are raising eyebrows at that.
100,000. That seems, about right.
But here's the twist. I want it all in edible notes.
Yeah. You could have $100,000 cash or $120,000 sausage vouchers. You decide.
And they have to be internationally viable. Not these fucking stupid ones that can only be spent in certain sausage shops in certain countries. I want a borderless sausage voucher.
I can walk into any sausage shop in the whole fucking world and get a sausage with it.
That was his campaign. His campaign ran on the introduction of a global sausage voucher. Which has got, let's be honest, very little to do with football.
Oh, mate, by the way, there's a really good show called The Secret Genius of Modern Life or something like that. I'll just quickly Google it. I watched it last night, right?
Sounds logisticy, is it?
Well, what it's about is, right, The Secret Genius of Modern Life, and it's this scientist called Professor Hannah Fry, who's very engaging. You hear her a lot on Lauren Laverne's show in the morning,
right?
And
I've heard her name,
she takes like an everyday item, right, that we use all the time, and then she sort of almost takes it to pieces and does all the stories behind the inventions within it. So, like in episode 1, I watched it last night. She takes the cash card, the credit card, and she talks about how it was invented, and of course over the years it's evolved. So at first it was just relying on that one piece of that magnetic black strip on the back, and then they introduced the chip and pin, and then so each time there was more technology, but all squished into this plastic card. And there's fantastic stories behind it. And the contactless card or the touch card, that we now all use, like for instance, that was based on there was basically a scheme by the KGB back in the fucking 50s or 60s, right? They gave the US ambassador to Moscow a hand-carved wooden plaque of like the US sort of diplomatic coat of arms with the fucking eagle and all of that, right? But this fucking sneaky Russians had put in it a listening device, a tiny wire that was a listening device inside the wood. But because it wasn't powered by battery or electric, it couldn't. When the Americans obviously did scan it for bugs, right? And they're like, no, it's fine.
They're not daft.
There's nothing in there. It's just pure wood. It's fine. Stick it on the wall, right? As a result, the Russians successfully listened to every conversation that every US ambassador across 4 ambassadors in about 12 years ever had. Right? And they'd invented this technology especially, right? And now that exact invention is what is used in our fucking credit cards, so we can just tap them, right? Because it wirelessly sends a message to our bank and then receives a message back saying, yeah, it's all right, he's got the cash.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's just one part of the show. She like breaks it down. She tells the whole story behind who came up with the credit card, the magnetic strip, the chip and pin. You go and see it. So it was right up our street because she goes to the factories where the fucking credit cards are made, which are in Southend, by the way. Every credit card's made by just like some geezer in Southend, some big fat Essex bloke. It's like, yeah, what we do is we stick them in there and it cuts them all like, then we stick the chip in and then they all go in the oven and then there, Bob's your uncle. There's your credit card, right? It's really funny. And then she goes on, and then she's speaking to spies 1 minute, geezers in a credit card factory the next. And every day, I can't remember what she's doing in episode 2, but it's fucking, I can't even remember why I started talking about this. Something you said reminded me of it. Did. No, something you said reminded me of it. Oh, yeah, episode 2. I don't know how any episodes there's been yet, maybe just 2, is the food delivery app and how that was basically, because it all started, like every element of these everyday things will start in things that happened like maybe a century ago. Do you know what I mean?
The Secret Genius of Modern Life. That's it. Episode 1, bank card. Episode 2, food delivery app.
She's really wonderfully engaging because she's super clever. But she reminds me a bit of that other, Stacey Dooley. She looks a bit like her, actually. But you know the way that Stacey Dooley became famous because she was like, she kind of had a very normal delivery that was conversational, but she'd be talking about pretty complicated things, but had a way of like making them sound conversational. So I was always quite a fan of hers when I saw her do stuff on telly. And this woman's similar. She's got like a brilliantly disarming way of it never being boring. Because Tomorrow's World used to be quite boring. Let's be honest, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because they were quite dry, sort of thing. But she is.
Vibe, though, isn't it? Yeah.
She's really, really good. And she talks about this mad Frenchman who invented the pin, you know, the chip and pin thing. And when he first invented it, right, it was like, because what it originally was, it was like, say, 6 little spikes of metal that fit into 6 holes, and that gives the unique code, right?
Right.
So what he originally was this mad French inventor, and what he originally had and tried to flog to the banks, right, was a ring that he thought every cunt would end up wearing. Like all of us would go around with a ring with 6 little spikes sticking out of it. Yeah. And when you wanted to pay for something, they held up a little block and you just went, spike! And we were talking about spikes the other day, weren't we?
We were.
Spike! And you slot the spikes into the hole, pull it out, and they go, yeah, he checks out. You can buy that coffee or whatever it is, right?
Wow.
And the banks were like, no, it's not going to work. But he was really like, fuck's sake, this is the future. I'm fucking telling you. This is the only secure way to pay for things. Everyone has to wear my spike ring. No. And they're like, no, what? Listen, I appreciate the effort and time put into this, but no one is going to go around with a spike ring, right?
It was going to use it as a weapon.
Yeah, because it get caught. Like she says in the show, it's bad news for jumpers. And every time like you took your jumper off or anything like that, it would just get caught in it, and people would get hurt and all the rest of it. But in the end, he worked. In the end, he worked out how to flatten it into just a flat chip.
Yeah. Well, the next step is for everyone to just go around naked, then, isn't it? They won't get caught in their jumpers.
Listen, right? People thought it was mad when someone first came up with a bike. They thought it wouldn't carry on, right? People thought it was mad when Jesus first started saying that there was God up in the sky. And look at that. All these things, they're all considered mad when they first start.
They all come true.
Have you seen? Go up to Homebase. People thought it was mad when they said that you could carry the paint on a sort of rucksack on your back with a tube connecting it to your roller. Yeah? Now everyone's buying them.
I need to get me one of them.
They're good those, aren't they?
So episode 3 is going to be virtual assistant.
Like Siri, yeah.
Episode 4, electric car.
Great.
Hannah Fry discovers why innovations in meat packing almost derailed the electric car.
See, this is what I'm talking about, mate. There's strong top flight elements to this show.
And then episode 5, fitness tracker. Hannah Fry finds out how 1970s car crashes helped us to count our steps.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, she's fucking cracking. At one point, she gets a producer's credit card. When in the process of breaking it down, showing all the different elements over the years that have been added and where they come from. Right at the beginning, she gets a producer's credit card, and she puts it in this glass full of, I can't remember what the chemicals are called. But while I was watching it, my wife just said, I know what you're thinking, and no, you can't get some of those chemicals, right? Because she drops it into this glass of chemicals. She says the chemical, I can't remember what the chemical's called, but she says it's basically like nail polish remover, but much stronger. She drops the card into it, she leaves it half an hour, and after half an hour, the card is completely fucking, it's not dissolved, but it's just like all these different bits floating around. And that's when my wife said to me, I know what you're thinking. No, you're not going to get a glass load of those chemicals. Not even. That's exactly what I was thinking. And I was sitting there thinking, how do you get your hands on chemicals like those?
And not even just to keep in the Vita Modular out of the house. You are not having them.
Yeah. Oh, chemicals though, Andy.
Never mind. I'll tell you what, let's not get back into Blatter at the minute. We'll leave it there because that was very good. But there's plenty more to come from Blatter.
Yeah. I hope that in Series 2, Dr. Hannah Fry breaks down Sepp Blatter, but from a scientific perspective.
Yeah, what the build-up of Sepp Blatter, the technological advancements that led to Sepp Blatter being what he was.
How horse manure in the 1800s eventually led to the invention of Sepp Blatter.
How Belgian worm farming led to the advent of bribery in FIFA in the early 21st century. Yeah, all right, we'll do more next week because there's plenty more and it's all good fun.
And it'll run throughout this wonderful World Cup, this carnival of football, this circus of fools.
Let's celebrate the foundation of the corruption and the chaos, and that is, of course, Sepp Blatter. Thanks very much for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.